Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Kai Schumann Project, where last time we kind of have a model that's starting to look pretty dang good, at least in my opinion at this point. So last time we went and kind of did a couple little touch-uppy things. We did another coat, or we did a coat on the kind of the brass areas, and for all intents, we have a pretty dang good looking model going. And my intention for today originally was going to be to kind of roughen it up. Everything came out actually quite a bit darker than the blacks are darker, the red is darker, the brass area is all dark. Everything kind of wound up being darker than the concept art I was going from, the inspiration images I was going from. And I was going to kind of rough those up and make it a little lighter, make it look a little more worn in. But this is kind of growing on me. I'm kind of liking how this turned out in the end. So I think if one element had been off, I would have done something kind of mix match. Being all of them have kind of turned out a little darker, I'm just going to go with what we have. I like it. I'm very happy. That said, I did spend an extra roughly hour and a half after the last video just kind of doing a lot of touch-ups. I put a slightly lighter coat on the brass, which still came out very yellow. I added quite a bit of white to it. It still came out like that. And then I went and I touched up all like the pants wherever like I got the black on the gray there, I kind of cleaned up. Wherever I got the gray on the black, I cleaned up. I kind of cleaned up all the edges on everything. So what we have here is now good, and this is ready to go. So instead of roughing it up, I think we're going to plow ahead this session. And one thing I would like to work on is we still have that hat to go. So I'd like to get a coat on the hat. We have the ammo belt I can get a coat on, the ammo box we can start to do, we have the knife we can do. So get a couple of these smaller areas done. Otherwise, like I said, we have 14 pieces to this puzzle, and of that, with what I have right now, 7 of them are done. So the ammo belt, the ammo box, and the knife would be another 3. The hat would make 4. So that would only leave 3 more elements left after that. So let's get to it. Let me go move a couple things around. And let's do perhaps the easier. No, let's not go with the easy one first. We're going to start with you. We're going to actually start with these two guys, the knife and the box. And the reason being is that my camera is not where it's supposed to be. All right, can we see this? Yeah, we have the knife and the box, because these are each going to have 3 separate colors on them. The ammo belt is only going to use 1. The belt is just going to be the black that I've been doing throughout all the legs and whatnot. So the belt part is easy. When it comes to these two guys, they're going to be using the same color scheme as the hat when we come in there. And actually, one more time up here before I go further anymore, is if we go to the side image, we're going to need to know what that camouflage color is, because again, the hat is going to be the same, or uses the same tone as the camouflage. So for the camouflage, what I'm thinking of right now, rather than mix any colors, at least on this first coat, we're going to use the mocha as the light color on the camo, and we're going to use the golden brown here as the dark color on the camo. And we're going to start with that and see how it works. And from there, the hat is the darker of the colors. From everything I can tell, the hat is the darker, so the hat's going to be the golden brown. So what I'm going to do is the strip down the middle of this, I'm going to do in a golden brown. I'm then going to do the hair brown color I have as a line that kind of goes along the edge, and then the rest of this comes the black. Whereas the knife is actually never visible in the game. The only place you ever see it is in the concept art, which I haven't actually loaded onto this screen here. Sorry about that. But the handle is black, and you can't really tell the rest because when it's in there, they shadowed the rest. So I'm going to do the same as on the box here. I'm going to have something to point with. I'm going to use the handle as black. This middle portion of the sheath I'm going to do as this golden brown, same as the hat, same as on the box. And then around the side of the sheath, I'm going to do the hair color. So these two are all going to kind of match in their color schemes as it goes. So I think with that, we're going to want to start with the golden brown. Do the hat, do the strips on these. Or actually do the strips on these first. By the time I get the hat done, it'll be dry. And then I can start with the other stuff. And like I said, we're just gonna go from there. And not having to mix something should make life at least a little bit easier in terms of trying to mix and match colors. You don't see it on the side, but I believe I have 7 different colors kind of sitting in plastic bags on the side. I kind of had to move things around just so they would all fit. The red on the side of the hat and on the camo, I still haven't 100% figured out. So it kind of looks like it actually wants to be the shirt red, but I feel like the shirt red feels dark. So I'm not as tempted to jump on that. But I think I'm going to save that for next session. I'll just kind of let it stew in my mind a little bit during this one. But anyway, let's fix up this color. Okay, this is already... We're just going to do this as a first coat on the hat because this might turn out a little dark. And I remember it's a brown color, and all brown colors tend to start out incredibly blotchy. Or at least the regular brown winds up reading very, very blotchy. Kind of forget how this one is. But this might also be good because I think that the gray here just kind of is going to stand out a little too much compared to all the black and whatnot that's down in the area. So this might actually be a good way to kind of tone it down a little bit. I'm on camera, but I'm not really centered. We want this to be the star of the show. And if I turn the camera down just a little more, there's a chance you're not going to see my top of my head or my nose or my hair or anything else that I have seen kind of. When I briefly kind of rewatch the videos I've done, I don't need to see myself in it other than the hands. And I love when I tilt things away and you can't see what's going on. That's also kind of good. Yeah. I'm going to do a first coat as this. I may have to... Once I get this on the hat, I have a feeling I'm going to be tamping things down color-wise. And second coats kind of off-camera are going to be... Yeah, I might add a little white to it. We're just going to do this on just the center part. We don't need the whole thing. Although I can do some more because it's going to be... You know, let's just do the whole thing. And that'll be a base for the other brown that's going on here as well. Because I know that brown does not cover well. And if we can start with this rather than the white base, that's probably not going to be a bad thing. So let's just slather it on here. Alright. That's easy. Got you. Now we're going to find out, do we make things better or do we make things worse on here? Because right now everything looks so good. I don't want to mess it up. Oh, getting into some... There are definitely going to be touch-ups on some of these colors because I'm going to be getting light onto dark and vice versa. That I can see there's a lot of the dark kind of where the light color wants to be. But that's it. I'm happy. It's a new day. It's a new thing. And I have gotten my next year's plans kind of set up. Wasn't expecting on doing it, but I'm now signed up for I am signed up for the Ultra next spring over in Vernon. So I didn't plan on doing that. They decided to offer a one-day sale on everything for 40% off. So I was like, all right, well, I know the Black Friday stuff comes around and there may be better deals. I know they keep adding, they have like all these kind of different deals they do during this kind of season. They usually have like their pre-Black Friday, then they have their real Black Friday. And then they have, but sometimes those deals kind of go, it's like 35% off kind of all races, and you get like for the pre ones, and you might get like the actual Black Fridays like, oh, 40% off, then you read the fine print, like it's only for the open categories, aka the non-competitive. I do the competitive ones. So I'm out, so I'm like, you know what? I see the price on this. I may get better offers if I wait, but if I do, it's considering that much, it's not going to be by much. So just take it at this point. So I'm now signed up. Then again, I still don't know how their price thing is, I don't know, legal in terms of advertising. They go, oh yes, it's 40% off. So let's say you have a $100 race you want to buy. It's like, oh, I get 40% off. It's going to cost $60. Well, they add on an extra just under $45 worth of processing fees and extra mandatory add-ons to all of their prices after they take their 40 or their discount off. So it's if you were spending a $100 race and they said, oh, you get $40 off, what they really mean is you're spending an extra $5 over their original ticket price to do your race. And in terms of advertising, I'm still not sure how that's legal and not just straight up false advertising. But it's the way Spartan has done their stuff forever. And yeah. There are far cheaper alternatives for racing than you can find in obstacle course racing, which is partly why I really don't do much anymore in that regard. It just, for what it is a giant time sink, or not time sink, money pit, I guess would be the better phrasing for it in terms of costs versus other activities I could be doing. So usually I'll just kind of do one or two big ones per year, and I'm happy just kind of hanging out with that. But and even if I do it, it would only be for the big ones. It's definitely not worth it doing like a sprint distance, or at least someone like me who's done a lot of races before doing like a sprint distance, which is like a 5K distance thing. If you're going to wind up spending a base price of say like $100 for that, plus another 45 on there, spending $145 to $150 on a race that's going to end in, I don't know, half hour, just doesn't seem economically worth it on my part, or in my mind. Again, I have duathlons, I have 5Ks, I have half marathons, I have other things I can do to kind of fill that fitness need. But when it comes to the ultra marathon distance kind of things, it really kind of is the only game in town that kind of fits that need that I can do, and kind of fits the desire. So for the ultras, it's worth just do one a year. And I'm being dumb and I'm doing the one more this coming year. So be prepared when the next project of this starts. I will also be doing the same time, starting up more of like the once a week fitness blog on what I'm doing for training. Anybody wants to follow along, they can kind of do this, that, or the other. We can have fun together with that part. But it's not going to be as in-depth as these. It's going to be a quick once a week, like 15 minutes in, out, done deal. But yep, we're doing it again. My body is still young, so let's do it. I'm still in a good place. I still can do these, I think. I presume I can. It's hard to speak for the future. I think it was Yogi Berra had something like, it's hard to predict something, especially the future, or something in that regard. Which I actually did get to see Yogi Berra once, back when I was in college. So we're doing an APO project has come up. They're having a Boy Scout Jamboree thing, or some kind of Boy Scout awards thing going on. And it was going to be one of those like big, I guess, central New York or all of New York kind of events kind of happened in our area. And they wanted people to help man the convention center, kind of get people to come in and whatnot. Except at the time they had said the speaker was going to be George W. Bush. I was like, oh, awesome. I'll go there. Sure. Awesome to see present. So I get there, and the guys in charge have no idea why I'm standing there. They're like, we never authorized any of this stuff. I'm just kind of standing at the door, and all of a sudden, one of our advisors who was there kind of realized there was some kind of miscommunication thing went on. A, the speaker wasn't Bush. The speaker wound up being Yogi Berra. And B, somehow news hadn't gotten around that they had requested additional hands at the door, so I'm just kind of standing there. I'm all dressed up. It's like suit, tie, whole 9 yards. And I guess I must have looked sad enough over there that they just, when the thing started, they just gave me a seat. Like, you know what, you've been standing here for the last hour. Just come on in, sit down, enjoy. So, got to hear Yogi Berra speak and do his spiel. I feel bad. I couldn't tell you a single thing that was said during that thing. All I know is I was there and I saw him, and that was that. But it was just one of those weird evenings. It was a good time. I enjoyed going there, but kind of heart sinks when you kind of pop into the place and you're like, we didn't ask for you. Like, what? What do you mean? This was brought up in our meetings. You wanted somebody here. Well, okay. We're getting there. This is definitely going to take, once again, the usual several coats. I'm seeing a whole bunch of white spots on here I don't want to see. We have enough paint in that cap. I can do this without having issues, without having to mix some more. Alright, get in there. Alright, so we have that. We have a brown cap. So we got that. I can do the red kind of flop down in there so we can get to the point where you can see the end of it. But alright, we have brown cap, which I have no idea if it's going to look good on there or not. And while we have this out, let's just get the next coat on here. Now, if I'm waiting for things to dry, I could always break out the original brown I had done like a week and a half ago. That I started the trim work on the camouflage itself. I can always kind of continue with that if I need to wait for things to dry, because a lot of these are going to be kind of multiple coats worth of stuff. Because I need this. Actually, I need to break out that brown anyway to do the trim work on these, so I might just do that. You're seeing one of the rare second coats on camera with this. At least since the first couple videos where I kind of figured out how I want to do these. Because yeah, figure between the hour and a half yesterday, I've now had 7 videos up until this point. This will make number 8 of the modeling, of the painting. And on top of that, I've had another 5.5 hours off camera doing all the second coats and touch-ups and all of that. So my original estimate of, it's going to take like, I don't know, 10, 11 hours or something. Yeah, I'm already at 12.5. This is going to make 13.5. And there's still a decent chunk to go. So my estimate on this one has completely been blown apart. I'm not even close. Okay, so I can put those down. Put that away. Oh, let's get my dirty water back over here. Let's realize I don't see my little... I do clean this out every now and again. It's just usually once the edge here starts to get some actual paint on it, we go. But you might think this is not the right way to clean things, but I've also been using these brushes now for... I forget if it's been 3 of them, or it might have been all 4 of the projects I've painted. I'm still using the same brushes, so... It's getting enough of the paint out that I can keep reusing this over and over and over and over again. So that part makes me feel okay. Now, it would be nice to go and do the black on this, but I might as well do the brown trims on that first, and then come to the black. Which, are you the brown? That's the brown. What do I want? I want that stuff to dry just a little bit, so I'm going to come over to you and just realize how badly this has been. Now this has been sitting here for about a week. So let's go and take a look and see how this is holding up. What are we doing time-wise? 20 minutes. Okay. So we're going to find out how well putting this in plastic actually works. Wow, the cut-ins on this are really bad. Cut-ins on this are really bad, and the colors still 100% work just fine. Or the paint still works just fine. So putting it in plastic, trying to get the air out, seal it off tight, it does work. Now I'm not going to go super far on this. Again, I'm not looking to get much on the hat or on the camouflage done. I still want to focus on the other part. This is just giving a few minutes for what I just did to dry, and really nothing more than that. Alright. I'm not super worried. I do have to cut in on the inside too, because the seam kind of goes along the inside edges, but I'm going to leave that for later. I'm not even going to finish this part on this segment. So I'm not super concerned really with anything on this right now. This will have its moment, and this is not the moment. We're just killing time just a little bit. But yeah, I can't really say I'm super excited for the race that I just signed up for. I wasn't mentally ready to sign up for it quite yet. Usually the big deal I kind of go from on there is a little later in the month. But again, they do slightly change things every year, so there's no hard set. This is the date I'm looking for. But I have seen the actual Black Friday stuff has been geared more towards the open category ones. So I tend to do the pre-Black Friday things, which this time they added something I hadn't been planning on. It's like one of those one-day only sales. They already still had even though Halloween's done, they still had their Halloween 31% off thing promo code already pre-selected on the site, and I'm like, nope, I got a better deal. Take that code off. I got a different deal. Got an extra 9% off, which it's still not bad. It's still a much better deal than if I don't do it like that. It kills me with the add-ons they put on there that aren't things that should be in the original price that aren't. And stuff like that still annoys the heck out of me. Because it's not like those are unknown prices. They're very known. They can put that in. I don't see a justification not to put those processing fees, the mandatory parking fee, the mandatory bag-in check, which I never use, fee. They give you like $5 whatever discount, or they give you a discount to their merchandise stuff, which again are add-ons that don't necessarily want. But no, they keep adding all this stuff on that it's a mandatory fee that should be in the original price, or it shouldn't be in there at all because most people don't use these things. So I like the events. I don't like the company. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I think the events themselves are fine. I just don't like the company itself. And a lot of the business choices they make from the consumer end are questionable. But it is the way it is. Like I said, at this point, I just do like one or two a year. I did two last year just because I did the Palmerton race was only because I was doing the Killington one and I wanted to see where I was fitness-wise going into Killington. This one, who knows? If I really enjoy this and it goes well, I may sign up. Who knows? I could sign up for Killington again. I know what I did, at least one of the things I did wrong in my training last time, which led to me not being able to do the downhills, which if I can correct that training wise, I might actually be able to finish the race. but I'm not going to think about that one until after Vernon is done. So if I wind up spending like an extra $80 on top of that, as opposed to what I could have done if I'd just signed up right now, that's fine. Because otherwise, I would be down that money, and that would be that. Let's see how things goes. I may go back and do the duathlon stuff again for the second half. Not sure. Not sure where I want to go on my fitness stuff this year. I haven't really given it that much thought yet. I kind of figured I had more time in the month to do that. But nope, here we are. 5Ks or whatnot, if those pop up, I have, what time did that take? That took about 6 minutes, so let's just do the other side. 5Ks I can do more spur of the moment. It's these the big ticket races I like knowing about beforehand. If I have anything like I'm going to say half marathon or above, I would like to know a decent chunk in advance that I'm going to be doing and sign up a decent chunk in advance so it gives me time to train for them. If like 5Ks come up and I'm available, that's fine. If like there's a 10K that seems interesting and I'm in shape for it, like I'm not going to sign up for a race between like now and Christmas. I'm just not in shape at all for that kind of thing. Those I can do spur of the moment, but yeah, big ticket stuff is nice to know ahead of time. Even if I don't need hotels and all that, some of these races are close enough I can just go to in the morning. It's waking up stupid early in the morning. Well, quote unquote, waking up stupid early in the morning. But we can still get there in time and get back home again afterwards in a reasonable time. Which Vernon is a reasonable time to get back. Like I said, I've done that a couple times. I have like a 9.5 hour time, and I think it was like a 10:50 time. The 9.5 one I did a lot of training for. The 10:50 time I did not do that much training for, and the weather was not cooperative by the end. I was slightly overheating the first half, so I took all my layers off. I was down to like a t-shirt going into the back half because I was getting warm. And then within like half hour of starting the second loop on the course, we got into overcast. The temperature dropped like 10 degrees. The last few miles it started raining, and it was just the end of that last time I was there was miserable, and my time wound up suffering just a little bit because of that. Slash a lot. I was in survival mode at that point. I feel like I'm in two modes whenever I do those types of races. I'm either like in full racing mode where I feel like I'm fully in charge of what I'm doing. I'm feeling good. I can make choices. Do I want to go faster here? Do I want to go slower? And then usually I get to a certain point where like the legs and whatnot turn to stone. And at that point I call it survival mode. Like I only have one speed. I have one gear. It is the only thing I can do, and we just go with it. We're just putting one foot in front of the other to get this race done, and that's all we can do. And typically on these races that hits around like that half marathon mark, which means for about 20 miles I'm in that survival mode, or 18 miles or whatever it is. Actually, last night at Vernon it was roughly 20 miles because that wound up being a 23 or a 33 mile race. It's advertised as 31. Vernon has never been 31 as long as I've done those. It has never been 31. It was 32 point something the first time, and I had over 33 the second time. So I believe the Ohio one I did, that one I think was pretty close to the actual 50K, the 31 miles. Killington, had I completed that one based on the numbers on the first loop, that would have been pretty much right there in the actual advertised distance. But Vernon, they always add more. It is a fact of life. You will 100% do more than what is advertised. It's not really a problem. It's just I know that going into the race that it's going to be a little longer than it is the quote unquote Spartan miles that they excuse me talk about, where they put their mile markers on the course, and historically speaking, and some races they get it right. Historically speaking, their mile markers are vastly off of where they're supposed to be. Where they're using fitness watches or some other measuring device, which is very different than what anybody using any other kind of fitness watch or whatever is using. I think Garmin is still probably the top choice. I use a Suunto. I have a Suunto 3 I use for my timing. I got that one specifically when I was going to Worlds, oh god, 3 years ago, before it was canceled in the end because of a forest fire that was coming nearby. But that was going to be a 24-hour race, and the Suunto 3 was the only fitness one I could look at, or the only fitness one that I saw that would actually last 24 hours while in like that GPS mode, kind of tracking stuff and whatnot. So that would be why I have my Suunto, which I'm not sure it's as accurate as say the Garmin. I used to have the Garmin Vivo Active before that, and the two distances and whatnot are a little different from each other, I've noticed, but I'm not sure which one is right and which one's not. But I have the Suunto now, and it's what I work with. So how do we do? I apologize for this probably being 100% off camera because this thing is so big in that little space, but at least now you're trimmed all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and stick you out here somewhere. You can just go right down there. Okay, now we're going to see how steady a hand I have at this. This is where I want to have just I want to edge this out nice and neat. And I don't really have an edge of anything to work off of on this. Usually I'll go, if I sculpt an edge, it makes things a little easier. I don't have that this time. So I can only just kind of, this is pure freehand. And all of a sudden, all conversation stops. For reasons. I do have the edge on the side of that I need to cover. Really, if I get a little too far down, that's going to be fine, so it's going to be black going up there. There we have a line started. This is one of those that's going to take, I think, a couple times. I might need to go with the light brown back here again to kind of smooth things out. And this will take a couple things, but in the end, this will look fine. Just be warned, a first go on this may not necessarily be the finished color. Oh, that's it. If you're seeing this little dot on my hand, that's not paint. That was work the other day. I nipped the end of my thumb with a slapper tacker when we were putting up a window. Which, if you don't know what a slapper tacker is, or if that's a phrase you're not familiar with, because unless you're a builder, you probably don't use those. If you have a stapler, you just kind of go and staple things down. Well, if you're putting on Tyvek or whatnot, you don't really use a staple. It's more like a hammer with a staple end. So you slap it down and it tacks a staple out there. So that's why it's called the slapper tacker. And I kind of got just a little too close to my hand when putting down the Tyvek. It just kind of nipped the edge. I didn't fully hit the hand, which would be worse. that would be much worse. But it still did something, and that's awesome. Okay, so we're a little rough on that, but again, as we go, we're going to be straightening things out. As for you, you should be actually a little easier because I can just, this one I do have a ridge I can go around to get this to work. Again, I'm using my finger here to just steady my hand as much as I can so that I can do this until I can't steady my hand there anymore, in which case that ends. Again, this is a detail that never made it into the game, and from when I started looking at the images actually afterwards, I realized it's only in the concept art and nowhere else. So, well, I've got it. Might as well make it. This is like that hammer thing at the end of Bang, when I did the Bang Shishigami one before, that went on the end of his hand. Then it's like, yeah, it's not in the game itself. It's only in the artwork, and I made it. And I'm actually not sure where I stuck that piece. It's not on Bang right now. I'll let you know that. He is not wearing that when on display. That thing looked ugly as heck. But it's like, well, it was in the artwork, so I must use it. Well, alright, so we have an edge to that. So I can put you down. What am I looking for? Baggy. Put that way over there. Clean out the brush. How are we doing on time? 37 minutes. Okay. We will see how this hat looks when I put it on Kai at the end of this. It's just right now is a little early. And why did I put my little drag here all the way out there? Okay. Wait, where's the other? I have two good ones for this type of thing. What do I want? I want the black. I want to get this ammo stuff going. I want to get this guy going. Now, I probably should have done the black first on this, because some of these points I need to get into are not going to be easy to get into. But it is what it is, and as long as I can be on camera, we're all good. Yeah, we are definitely going to be touching up some of this. That was the other thing I was going to do. I didn't put the actual kind of sparkly gold kind of color on any of this yellow. That was the other thing I was going to do this time. But actually, it's probably better I don't, just so I can get some of this stuff done beforehand, because I'm probably very definitely going to need to touch up some things on here, because this is not going to go perfectly on the first go. There are too many tiny little spaces I need to get a brush into to not hit things I don't want to, and I already have. Didn't take long. That's it. I feel like I'm cutting out a lot of the painting stuff that I'm doing, because I've, like I said, out of 7 hours worth of painting that I've shown prior to this segment, I had done another 5.5 off camera that you haven't seen. So it feels like I'm definitely not showing as much as I had in the previous one. But at the same time, this is still probably going to wind up with more segments than the Bang one did by the time all is said and done. So It's just it's not necessarily that there's more paint to be done. It's just there's a lot more of this kind of detail cutting in stuff to be done. A lot more of this kind of detail cutting in stuff to be done than the Bang one had. Because when I first looked at the model, I figured, oh, the camouflage is going to be the hardest part. And it's just, I hadn't really paid attention to how many of these kind of little details needed to be done. And I do need to get kind of the side of the roll here, which is what the cutting in, which is what I'm really kind of staring at this. Probably my head is probably in the screen. That wouldn't surprise me. But there is a 3D element to some of these things. So I need to get the outside edge of these rolls in addition to the top, bottom, and the regular. And you are definitely gonna, like the others, you will definitely need another coat after this. This will be fine. If I can get this part done, this segment, then next time I can finish the box, I can finish the knife, I still have the gold to do, I still have the rest of the hat to kind of finish, I still have the other red on the hat to do. There are a couple kind of decal-y things paint-wise I need to do on the hat as well. So hopefully then next segment I'll pretty much have, I'm pointing at the model which is not on your screen. I should have that part of it pretty well done. And then after that we have the rifle to do, we have that shoulder guard to do, which you probably already 100% forgot about. And then we have the camo to do as well. So that's going to be another several sessions to get all of that stuff done. And I probably should do a base as well. I still 100% have not thought at all about a base. But I should probably do that. Because as nice as it would be just to kind of do the model and say, yep, I'm done, I should have her standing on something. I said my gut reaction is just like have like a dirt pathway or something like that she's kind of standing on. Nothing ostentatious, something kind of very plain looking, I think would be the most appropriate for this one. There are other animes and other shows and other games and whatnot that would probably be more appropriate to have something a little bigger or wilder or crazier or whatever going on, but given the source material on this, I just don't feel like this is the type of model that needs something, yeah, ostentatious. Just something plain, simple, and doesn't draw attention away from the character itself, I think is the way to go. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I have what, 7 done, 5 to go? Or, yeah, shells. Bullets. I guess there's shotgun shells. Sniper rifle is bullets, I'm pretty sure. And my knowledge of armaments is limited. So. I should probably learn more about this stuff. But I just haven't done that at this point. Get in there. Yeah, we got on the gold. We got on the gold. No. It's not like that was 100% predictable. Actually, I can hold the edge. I can hold the bullets. That's I didn't think those. I feel like I'm running out of room to put my fingers, but no, that's not an issue. I'm not doing that part. I'm just doing this part. Trying to cut in as good I can. As good as I can. Me English. I can English. I'm gonna do as good as I can on this. And that's gonna be that. Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking at the hat compared to it's sitting right next to Kai right now, and I'm not 100% sold on the color of it. I think it's a fine base color, but I'm not 100% sold on the how it's going to look when I actually stick it on her head. But we're going to find out in just like a minute or two here. I think I'm going to finish this, and I'm not going to go much further than this. I think the time permitting is not going to allow it to go much further. Oh, I got black over every one of these bullets, I think, which is super awesome. I have all the touch-ups, but at least this will be another element 100% done. So, one more time, we are going to be crossing things off the list. Plus, it's something I can put on this part of the model. It's not like I finished the rifle. I'm like, yay, the rifle's done. But that means nothing until the camouflage is done because she physically can't hold this without the camouflage on. It just falls right off the shoulder. So it's not like one of those details. Now this one I can literally just put on when it's done. It's in there. It's finished. Okay, let's get the white off of this. That way we don't actually see this little metal part at any given point. You can have that disappear. Okay, I'm going to excuse me while I reach over here. I still have this doohickey, which I can just hang that on. It's nice having some of these. Where are we on time? We're at 48 minutes, which is fine. I can do this. This guy I would like to do a second coat of the brown before I do the black along the edge. But on this one, I can just do the bottom of the knife, and that's fine. I can always do the black at a separate point in time. And actually, you might be two colors on here. I might do, I might do the whole thing with this, and I might do the lighter black as the center of the handle. I can do the whole thing with this one as a base coat, because this paint is out. I might as well use it. And the two are close enough that I can use one as a base coat and not need to do it the same thing. Not need to use, the same thing for both coats. Plus, I'm really curious how this is going to turn out with the black versus brown stuff together. Not 100% sure the two combined like this are going to look good. So, but again, the only image this is on is the concept art, and the sheath itself is in shadow. So, can't really see what's going on in that regard. Get a brush in there. I modeled little divots. Get the paint in those divots. Okay, so that's that. Where are my glasses? That's the problem when you put down glasses, you can't find them again. All right, so that's on the side. And I think I'm going to be stopping it here. It's going to be just a few minutes earlier than I have been, but I think it's at a good point. I don't want to start another element and not be able to finish it, so I'm okay ending right here. All right, plastic bag, where are you? Okay, let's move this out of the way. Let's get you back over here, and we're going to have a slight moment of truth. How does all this stuff look when combined? Now, good thing is this stuff dries pretty much instantly, so we can put you on. Whoa. Camera, why are you... Alright, somehow camera just got loose there. I don't know what happened. Camera just got a little loose. So that's going to go in here. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Now we have the knife. The blade goes up because you want the handle down so you can grab the handle. And if I thought that hole was hard to find before, it's even harder now. Actually, yeah, I think that color... No, camera, no. Zoom correctly. We're not ending on a bad zoom. Oh, why now? What did I do? Lens. Ooh, zoom out. Get to here. Can we zoom in? Okay, we zoomed. Zoom out. Right about now, I wish there were buttons on here so you can do kind of auto zooming stuff, but there are no buttons on this thing. So, kind of stuck on that front. All right, the box is still 100% not right. Well, I'm just gonna wait like a minute for this thing to hopefully do its thing. And yeah, coming up, we still have, like I said, if the hat color works on here, that's going to wind up being the darker of the colors on the camouflage. On the lighter side of things, I'm looking at the mocha. As I said before, so we'd have the mocha and the light brown, if that all works. On the red side of thing, I'm not 100% sure. That might be, I might use whatever the shirt color as the probably darker of the color of the reds on here, and I might mix a lighter version of that, and that will be the lighter version of the red here, and that will probably also then be the red on this. Come on, camera. As for the rifle, I have not looked at the rifle at all, and I really haven't looked at the shoulder guard at all, so those are going to be yet to come. But I don't want to put the hat on until this zoom figures itself out. Can I bring you up? Yeah, I can bring you up to here, and it's like it's zoomed in, but Can't you just work with me a little bit? We're at the end of the segment. Dude, work with me. This is not how we do this. Like I said, it'd be nice to get the rifle done, but it means nothing for this model. I mean, I can't even have her holding this thing in any way, shape, or form, which is why there's been no priority on this part yet. I still love the sculpt. I love the carving on it, but oh, is that better? Is that better? I thought we were better for a second. All right. How does that work? That does not feel good. This brown here may not be the color. Or we need to do something else to make that work. I guess part of the problem is there's no other point of this brown really anywhere on here. On the side, that's not going to be enough to make that kind of draw that in. There's nothing on the front to kind of bring it together. So this is where maybe the winter colors might actually be nicer, because the winter I could probably take the pant color here and bring it up to the head. But at the same time, when this is all said and done, all this stuff I've done is going to be hidden by this anyway, most likely. Odds are I'm going to be having her wear that, because that can then show off more. I can show off then the rifle, I can show off other stuff. But yeah, I'm not really feeling that hat color super much right now, I'm not going to lie. I think it works fine on the knife. The knife is good there. I think this works. I think that worked out. We're going to find out if this does or not when we get to that color. But the hat I'm not 100% sold on. But we'll see. I'll play with things. Like I said, I'm going to do another coat of that off camera. It'll change the color. I might lighten it up a little bit off camera too. We'll see. But yeah, this is where we are now. We have, again, more elements done. This should bring us up to 9 elements with the knife and the bullets now on here, which means, yeah, we're getting close to the end. We then just have 5 more to go. 1, 2, shoulder, rifle, and camo. So we're getting close. And until then, and until next time, enjoy.